coincidentally, not 10 minutes ago, I was working on a Panasonic TX P42 GT30B that had 14 blinks. 14 blinks was connected to a mainboard issue. Customer says, this is my pride and joy 3D model, and I can understand that. This has got the 7 blinks. 7 blinks usually points to a scan board issue, usually the Y sustain or the SC board. But on this, it could be an SD board or an SU board issue. Because this has, the 50-inch has separate buffer boards, where the 42-inch has the buffer boards built in. Does that make any difference? Does it help? It does help a bit, I suppose, having the buffer boards separately. So we've either got to guess, well, normally on the 50 inches, I'm going to guess it's a buffer. I'm just going to guess it's a buffer issue. Could be both. But I haven't plugged it in yet, so even though we do trust customers and clients 100%, and everything they say and do, this is a lovely clean TV. It is a lovely TV. Right, unfortunately, I seem to be monitoring on the wrong screen. If I cover that up, I can't see. So I need you over. Ha. There we go. So I'm just switching the lights off at the moment so we can pick up what the green light does. Well, it should turn red and blink 7 times, I'm guessing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Absolutely right. 7 blinks. Right. Let's bring it down. I've already begun the tedious task of oops, let's have some lights. Removing the screws. Now, if it's a Y sustain on this, I can begin the process of soldering the parts. Takes a bit of time. If it's a buffer board on this, I'm going to have to order a part in. So main board, SS board, or X sustain, main power unit, sub power unit, Y sustain board, or SC board. These are either the SDs or the SUs. That's the SU, so that'll be the SD. And it is. Normally, if it's the Y sustain boards, we'll have to remove that, and that, and a couple of very tiny ICs just over there. I'm not too sure how good this camera focuses in. If it is this board, as I say, and we have to remove those, more than likely it's taken out something on the power board as well, but I don't no, not necessarily on this one. This is a 50-inch, not the 42. I may stand corrected on that, but anyway. Oh, I've just noticed that. Maybe. So, what's the first thing I'm going to do? First thing I'm going to do is get a meter. Hello Rita, did you meter? And go looking for a short circuit. And the first thing I'm going to test are these MOSFETs here. So, have we got a soldering job tonight? Yes, we have. And the other thing we need to know, has it taken out the buffer board? Oh. No. Sorry, I thought that was a short, then it's... Let's try the SU board. You may hear the occasional beep. That's not a short. I'm just checking the meter as I do this for ohms. It's looking just like the Y sustainer's gone. Has it taken anything out on the power board? Let me just check. It's a bit dusty. And I ain't got my glasses on. That's looking good. I don't think it does on this power board. No, it doesn't. Fuse, okay. Both fuses, fine. So, the reason why these go all the time, let me get wobbly cam and let's just see how many of these screws are loose. A little bit loose. Very loose. Well, no, loose, not very loose. A bit loose. No, that's quite tight. That's quite tight. Oh, that's quite tight. Have I missed any? What about these? Well, they're not. A few loose ones. Nowhere near as loose as the 42-inch I did the other day, which didn't take out the Y sustain, so this chap's been unlucky. So we're going to take off the Y sustain. We're going to remove the TV and replace the FETs that we need to replace, which are on here. It's a long and boring job, so I'm not going to film every single one. We'll do the odd one here and there. So obviously this is all sped up at the moment. I'm not going to bore you by replacing all 8 FETs on camera, or maybe 9 in the ICs. Plus for the ICs I'm going to need to get out my microscope, as I'm getting old and my eyesight's not what it used to be. But the microscope really comes in handy, and so it should. It costs a small fortune, but it does help for the IC drivers. Now, the one thing you may notice about this TV, and come to think of it, any TV of this particular age, because I think I'm the first person to open up this TV since it was first manufactured in 2011. It's now 2020, and it's covered in dust. Time for the cleaning process. Just trying to dust it off a little bit if I can. Trouble is, I'm dusting it from one board to another, which is not really working. ICs swapped over. FETs swapped over. I did, of course, double check the power board, because sometimes FETs can go on that, but I was right first time, not on this particular model, so no FETs or fuses needed to be replaced on that. But as you can see, there's a fair amount of dust all over this TV, and I shall be taking it outside in just a second and giving it a jolly good spanking. And then I shall bring out the little vacuum cleaner with my little micro dusting attachment. That'd make somebody a lovely wife. But I shall get that into operation, and that will be really good to just clean it all out. In the meantime, everything's been replaced. Before I go on a mad cleaning spurge, I think it'll be a good idea to plug this in and just see. Now that's been done, and I've cleaned all the residue flux off there. You're never going to make it look factory fresh. As I mentioned, power board there, that didn't have to be touched. And with my wobbly cam, hey, you can see just how dusty the fans are. But before I go mad and go on a cleaning process just yet, it would make common sense, I suppose, now to plug this in and see if I can get anywhere with it. But basically the TV is back together. It's a bit of a lump to lift up. I always used to love, first time around, I'm just checking that everything is really tight along the screws, making sure that all the screws are in. I used to love lifting the TV up first of all and watching the green light not go into a blink code once it had been repaired, but you get past that stage, and of course the most important thing now is just to make sure it powers on. Plus, if there are other problems on this board, it's nice to have it at this angle, so if anything does go pop, I can kind of see where it may be going pop. That does help. Not that I envisage anything going pop. But sometimes if one of the ICs didn't go on correctly, or if the IC driver is not behaving itself, it's nice to witness where the click and pops may come from, just in case. But I do seem to have checked and double checked exactly where all the wires should go. So I think it's time to plug it in and see if we get some fan spin. Bit of fan action, please. And even in that dust, all the fans are kicking off. So that's really good news. It means the TV has gone out of its error code and hasn't created another error code. And it means I am going to be getting a picture. Now, once again, what sort of picture? When the Y sustain shorted out, was there a line on the screen? Did it cause a line on the screen? Have we got buffer problems? All these questions will be answered as soon as I can be bothered to lift the TV up and have a good look at the screen. But first, it's time to do a bit of housework, I think, and get out the little duster. Well, that is probably the cleanest this TV has been since it was made in... Does it have a year? Look at that. It does have a... Sorry, look at that. It does have a year on it. This was made in 2011. And as now, as you can see, the fans are back to being as clean as can be. Right. Let's lift it up. I've put some screws in the back, not all of them, just in case I have to panic and do anything. So I'm just resting it up. Gently there. Let's turn it on. And there we go. I have no idea what you can see because the monitor that shows me what's happening on the cameras is now covered up by the big plasma. So not much I can do. But there doesn't seem to be any lines, which is good. I will switch it to the Blu-ray, and probably this is where I will get into trouble with YouTube because it's a well-known film I'm sticking in. I've got lots of Blu-ray test discs for Panasonic, 3D test discs. But they've all just not gone dirty, but they've... Oh, hello. Where did he come from? They've all just got marks on it. Well, they're all... I suppose the word is they're tarnishing. But they've been left in the original covers, you know, not discs that have just been left on a shelf to rot by themselves. They've been put in protective sleeves. So I'm really disappointed. I have to go looking for those. So at the moment I've got it connected up to this. Again, don't know what you can see. This is just a portable Blu-ray player that I use in the workshop. Let's press preview. See if we get away. I will somehow have to turn the sound down. Is there a sound knob? There is. So hopefully that should be sound well down so I don't get into too much trouble with the YouTube peeps. Blue. Yeah, no lines, good picture. Needs a bit of a clean. Let's have a look at the settings. Isn't it funny how people put plasmas on just a basic setting, and the LED TVs, they crank right up to the top, maximum backlights. But on this, because I haven't reset this has not been a main board job. We can go up to dynamic, but we don't have to. So that's it. Another plasma, another 3D one survives. It works. It's a very good TV. The picture quality for a 720. These are only 720. And the picture quality for a 720 is very... No, it's 1080. Oh, these must be 1080 and the VTs must be 720. Yes, of course it's 1080. You saw the buffer boards. But in my mind, I've always thought of these as 720. It works. It can go back to the customer. And what I recommend, just in case you've had a plasma for 4 or 5 years, is tightening up the screws. It's going to save you an expensive engineer's visit, that's for sure. And save the TV, because I'm sure you know so many videos that we've done, but of course the fact that the hot and coldness of the TV means the boards expand, subtract, pushing the screws up over the years until eventually you have 2 or 3 really loose screws. And of course those screws are the earths, they're the grounds. That causes the arcing, that causes the shorting, and that causes you to open your wallet to get it fixed again. Where if customers, and I know they don't, and I do understand why they don't. Who wants to take the back of a 55-inch, 50-inch plasma and take it off the wall and start messing with the screws? It's one of those things you'll say, oh yeah, good idea, mate, I might do that next week. Well, even I don't do it, I suppose, so who else is going to do it? But it does save these issues. Anyway, another one done, another one saved. Bring on the next one.